Adam Smith's magnum opus, The Wealth of Nation, is considered the founding document of modern economic thought. It was written in the late 18th century as capitalism was in its takeoff period in Britain, as it was becoming the dominant form of economic organization. And yet, The Wealth of Nations has at its core a problem, a paradox. It takes something that is historical, that is the rise and operation of capitalism, as something very distinct in what occurred in the Middle Ages, and turns it into something natural. The foundation of the economy, of the success of an economy for Smith, was the division of labor, taking something that was a complex task and breaking it into its component parts, like the making of pins. He famously had the example of a pin factory. Now try and make a pin, I dare you. It is extraordinarily difficult, pulling out the metal, shaping it precisely, but divide that into its component parts, its component steps, and it becomes an incredibly efficient production. Instead of one pin, if you were the person simply in charge of knocking out the head a little bit, get 30 of your friends together, you'll start making not just one pin a day, but thousands of pins in a day. And it's this division of labor that Smith sees as the foundation of productivity. But for Smith, it wasn't just about labor and production. It was fundamentally about trade, what he calls truck and barter, the exchange of goods between two people. Because fundamentally, when Smith is imagining how markets work, it is between two people trading with one another. This is what makes possible the division of labor, having some people specializing in the making of pins and other people specializing in perhaps the making of cloth. He explains this connection. He says that trade emerges from division of labor as a, quote, consequence of a certain propensity in human nature, the propensity to truck, barter, and exchange one thing for another. A propensity grounded in human nature. That is, that which is novel, that which is remaking the face of England and Scotland, and indeed the rest of Western Europe, is in fact not a product of the 18th century at all, but an essential feature of human nature. This is at odds with the very historical nature of capitalism itself. And we see this again and again, not just in the 18th century, not just with Adam Smith, but with all economic thinking, that it tends to restore nature above history, nature above things that are changing in the world, and transforming that most essential process of economic change, capitalism, into something that is as natural as breathing or sleeping. What is different about capitalism is not exchange. That perhaps has always existed. What is different is the investment of capital in production for the purpose of exchange, the focus on exchange, to produce greater value. That is what is novel about capitalism and missing in Smith. Smith naturalizes capitalism. He turns it into a feature of the natural world. And this is a problem for economics and economic thought up until right now. One of the purposes of this course is to understand how capitalism is, in fact, not natural, but has a multitude of features that change over time, evolve in institutions, people, practices, ideas. And so it's difficult to say there is a capitalism. We are examining how, instead of being a natural feature, it is a historical event.